What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Vice, and Series 2, it's finally here. Now, there's been a handful of Series 2 tournaments already. You can find them at play.limitlesstcg.com. I'll post a link in the description, but Nino Poke Bros hosted a pretty big one, 396 participants, and I did pretty well. You can see right there, 4th place in Swiss. I did lose in top 32 to Moxie Boosted, but I never played in a tournament that long, and 5+ hours of Pokemon just got to me, so I played pretty poorly. Moxie played really well, and it resulted in a loss for me, but I had a lot of fun with the team. I thought it was really strong, and I put together a little highlight to showcase it. So this first game I'm going to show is against Mars. Now, Mars VGC is a really strong player. He went to San Diego Regionals and got 13th place. He's an up-and-coming player that's really well known for his team-building skills, so I can't lie, I was a little nervous to play against him. This was his team. Pretty much a mirror match, but he had Goldango and Arcanine instead of Umbreon and Pincurchin, so yeah, I was, up against one of the best proven and tested players, and I was ready to show him what I could do. So he led Iron Hands and Iron Bundle. I led Bundle and Amoonguss. I figured he would want to eliminate Amoonguss as quickly as possible, so I protected turn 1. He did go for the fake out into it. I win the speed tie and fire off an Icy Wind, but I miss against his Iron Bundle, so that puts me in an awkward spot, especially because he goes for an Icy Wind of his own and connects with my bundle. So turn 2, I'm thinking, alright, I've already lost my Sash on Iron Bundle. I don't want to lose my bundle totally, so I'm going to switch it out here. Umbreon comes out. And I figure Umbreon can soak up damage pretty well, and if he brings in his own Amoonguss, which he does, then I'll have Taunt on deck and ready. So it's an open team sheet format, so we knew each other's items and movesets. So I knew that his Iron Hands didn't have Protect, so I went for the Spore into that slot, but he switched the Amoonguss in there, so this is a pretty moot turn after he protects his bundle. But because I have Taunt, he switches out Amoonguss. Now, he just protected his bundle, so I have a free Spore into that slot. He doesn't have enough firepower to KO me. So, he goes for the Freeze Dry to get off some damage, but he does have to go to sleep this turn. He shows off his skill, switching in that Assault Vest. Iron Hands into the Taunt. Getting himself back into position without wasting too much time, but bundle does go to sleep. And I know that his Iron Hands can't KO my Amoonguss, so unless he switches back into Amoonguss and wastes another turn, I can break his Sash on bundle, eat a hit with Umbreon, and put his Iron Hands to sleep. So now he's got 2 sleeping Pokemon. I want to get back into an offensive position, so I make a double switch here. Umbreon gets its leftovers back, and I'm going to bring in both Iron Bundle and Iron Hands and start trying to take advantage of his sleep turns. So turn 1 didn't go that well for me, missing the Icy Wind and losing the speed control war, but took the next 2 turns and shifted the momentum back around. Both his Pokemon stay asleep here. Iron Bundle did have a chance to wake up, so I want to take Iron Bundle out first before I deal with Iron Hands, especially because Iron Hands can just regain health back, and I can't two-shot it with these 2 Pokemon. So I go for Terra Fire here. Now, my reasoning for that was I figured he might switch Amoonguss into the bundle slot, and I wanted to make sure to KO it because it had Citrus Berry. I wasn't sure that without Terra Fire Punch I could 2-hit KO it with this move combo, but he doesn't switch in, he just takes it. Bundle stays asleep for the 2nd turn, and we eliminate his bundle. So we're in a good spot now. It is 4-3 my lead, but both my Amoonguss and my Umbreon are pretty low, so he brings in Amoonguss. Now, I figured because his Pokemon was asleep, he might try to protect Amoonguss just to waste a turn. So I do ignore Amoonguss this turn. He goes Terra Dark. But that's good for me because now Drain Punch will hit it super effectively. instead of being resisted, and I can get HP back. So I'll double up into his Iron Hands with Hydro Pump and Drain Punch, and it brings him below half, but it doesn't look like another Hydro Pump will KO without a crit. So now I gotta choose between trying to take out Iron Hands and Amoonguss, and he puts Iron Mike to sleep. So he's brought some of the momentum back. I go for the Hydro Pump, fishing for the crit. I don't get it. Iron Mike takes his first turn of sleep. He wakes up, fires off a huge Drain Punch into Iron Mike though, so I do get to keep Bundle one extra turn. He gets a little HP back there, and instead of putting Bundle to sleep, he goes for the Pollen Puff. So that was a relief for me. I fire off a Hydro Pump into Amoonguss. I know my Iron Hands is faster, but it doesn't wake up. And he fires off a Drain Punch, eliminating Ramon. So he's evened it back up 3-3. But he's still in an awkward position here, because Iron Mike is going to wake up any minute now. And he doesn't really have a good switch in to Drain Punch anymore. So he goes for another Pollen Puff just in case I protected my bundle. I bring out my Amoonguss. He doesn't have enough firepower on the field to take out Amoonguss in one turn, so I know I have a free Spore into the hand slot. My Iron Mike stays asleep for a third turn, but that's cool because he protected his Amoonguss. He goes for the Wild Charge. It does nothing, and he's going to take Rocky Helmet and Wild Charge Recoil. And it's back to sleep for him, so now I'm in a great position. Iron Hands is guaranteed to wake up for me, and his just went to sleep. So I wake up. I go for a Drain Punch. He had just protected Amoonguss, so that was a pretty free KO. And now he's down to his last two Pokemon. His Iron Hands does take its guaranteed sleep turn here. And then we see his last Pokemon is Roaring Moon, so he already used his Terra, so I know it's going to stay a Dark type, so I have free Drain Punches into that slot. I do want to get some Regenerator back on Amoonguss, so I switch in Umbreon to soak up some more damage. Utilize my leftovers. He protects Roaring Moon to try to stall out some sleep turn for his Iron Hands. But I'm not worried about it, because I feel like with Amoonguss pressure, I can keep Iron Hands, at bay, so my goal is to just take out this Roaring Moon before I bring back my Amoonguss. And I got two Pokemon that he doesn't damage very well on the field, so he goes for the Acrobatics. It doesn't take out Umbreon. We get off a juicy Foul Play to make sure he's in range of Drain Punch. And bam, night-night. Now he's down to his last Pokemon. It's a 1v3. I got a Amoonguss in the back that he can't touch. He doesn't have Fire Punch on his Iron Hands. He had a Heavy Slam, so my Amoonguss is safe to just Rage Powder while I, Drain Punch him down. And Mars realized that, so I go for the Drain Punch and the Foul Play here, but he concedes the battle. Game over. So, not gonna lie, that was a huge confidence boost beating Mars. He's a great player. Big ups to him for doing really well at San Diego, but I had to do my thing, represent the agency. So my second opponent, Joda Pro, got a real spicy team. Talonflame, Hydreigon, Sylveon, Tauros, Meowscarada, and Glimmora. Now, he's got two choice users, Choice Band Meowscarada and Choice Specs Glimmora, so I know that if I lead Iron Hands, there's a 33% chance that he leads something I can fake out and Spore into freely, so I lead Iron Hands and Amoonguss. He leads Glimmora's Sylveon. Now, I saw in his team sheet that his Sylveon had sub, and I figured he'd want to get a sub up against my Amoonguss, so I fake it out. And he has Choice Specs with Earth Power, but with the Assault Vest, I eat that, even though it's a critical hit. So, shout out to Iron Mike for taking that. It's a huge hit. We get the Spore off. And now I'm in an awkward spot because Iron Mike is slower than Sylveon and will go down to a Hyper Voice, but I call him on wanting to go for a sub in front of Amoonguss. So I keep Iron Hands in and send a big Thunder Punch his way. Destroy the Substitute immediately. And now Sylveon has to go to sleep as well. Good night. So I am spamming Spore in this tournament, but I mean, Amoonguss is here for a reason. Now I go for Rage Powder on this turn because just in case he gets the first turn Wake Up, which he does, I don't want Iron Hands to go down without taking out that Sylveon. Amoonguss eats the Choice Specs Earth Power pretty well. Sylveon takes its mandatory sleep turn. It's never going to see the light of day with another Thunder Punch. Goodbye. So we've eliminated one Pokemon. He brings in Talonflame. Now this Talonflame is Life Orb with Brave Bird, so I know I got to make a play here or I'm going to get double KO'd. So I go Terra Water on my Amoonguss. My Amoonguss is super physically bulky, so I figure with Terra Water I should be able to eat the Brave Bird so I can redirect both attacks. I go for another Rage Powder. Iron Mike is super low, but if I can get rid of this Talonflame before he brings in his last Pokemon, I'm in a great spot. So we do eat the Life Orb Brave Bird with the Terra. Defensive Terras are the way to go. And an Earth Power takes out Chamomile, but stuck around long enough for Iron Mike to put in major work at low HP. RIP Amoonguss. RIP Talonflame. So now he's choice locked into Earth Power with Glimmora. So we see that Tauros is his last Pokemon, which is great for me because I got super effective damage into both of these Pokemon with my Iron Bundle. Now he does have Aqua Jet, and I'm worried about Aqua Jet into Earth Power taking out Ramon. So I go for the Freeze Dry into Tauros because I know I outspeed Glimmora, but he goes for the Great Protect, making the read. So if he had Earth Powered this turn into Ramon, I would have been in big trouble. But fortunately he takes out Iron Mike, so that's great for me. I am down to my last Pokemon. I send out my shiny Slifer, the Sky Dragon. Took me 4 hours to shiny hunt that thing, but well worth it. Those colors are sick. So you can see here, I EV'd my Roaring Moon to speed boost instead of attack boost. Most of the ones on Showdown I've seen are attack boosting, but I wanted to make sure that I outsped Fluttermane, so that was the idea behind that. Something to think about. Speed before greed. It's a quote from Graham Amity I'll never forget. He goes for the Terra Water, and he Aqua Jets into Roaring Moon, so he doesn't break my Sash, so now I know I'm in a great spot. Acrobatics isn't super effective anymore, but it does put Tauros in range of this Freeze Dry. Bam. So now it's a 2v1. He's locked into Earth Power, and I got a Focus Sash, so I didn't know how much this Choice Specs Earth Power would do into Roaring Moon, but surprisingly it takes it super well. Next turn I fire off a Crunch, bring it down below half. And Bundle's going to finish this game off with a Hydro Pump. Now Freeze Dry probably would have been a better play being that I have Focus Sash, but I trusted Bundle to finish the game off. No reason to prolong the inevitable. GG to my opponent, real cool dude, and play of the game was definitely going that Terra Water with Amoonguss to take that Life Orb Brave Bird. Would have lost the game if I hadn't done that, so. This brings us to our last match of the episode. This is my round 1 opponent, DeFlo. Pretty much a mirror match, except he has Arcanine and Fluttermane. His Amoonguss doesn't have Protect, and his Iron Hands is Terra Steel, so I like the matchup. But you can see this is a pretty common core, that Iron Hands, Iron Bundle, Roaring Moon, Amoonguss. Definitely something you should expect to see a lot of and prepare for in your team building. So he leads Roaring Moon and Iron Bundle. I lead Iron Bundle and Amoonguss. I didn't lead my Roaring Moon because he had Intimidate. I didn't want to waste my speed boost having to switch out off the Intimidate, so you can see his Roaring Moon is attack boosting nature. Because it's going to be strong, I do Terra my Amoonguss. I don't want to take the Freeze Dry Acrobatics double up. So Terra Water will stop Acrobatics from being super effective. I protect my Iron Bundle just in case he wants to double up into that turn 1. He goes for the Icy Wind. That'll ensure that his Roaring Moon is faster than my bundle. But that was not a risk I was willing to take, so we go for the Protect. But he Dragon Dances disrespectfully in the face of Amoonguss, so we're going to have to punish him for that. Show him why that's a big no-no. Here's a dose of Chamomile for you. Enjoy that nap. And now I'm ready to start going on the offensive, so I protect my Amoonguss here. I suspect there's no way this man disrespects Amoonguss 2 turns in a row. He's got to go for the freeze dry here. Roaring Moon takes his mandatory sleep turn. We do see Iron Bundle use the freeze dry into our protect. And I'm ready to fire back with a freeze dry of my own. Big damage there. Not an Oko, but I do believe it's an Icy Wind range. So now I'm going to go for the Icy Wind. And I'm going to switch in Pincurchin, baby. You can hear the crowd start popping off with the singing after they heard me call out Pincurchin coming out. So my guess is that my opponent has Iron Hands in the back. Amoonguss doesn't resist Iron Hands attacks anymore, so I'd like to have as much HP as possible to redirect its attacks. I don't want to take a freeze dry. Switching in Pincurchin will also allow me to get rid of my eject button, so that next time Pincurchin comes in, my opponent can't threaten ejecting Pincurchin out before it does anything. So we bring in Pincurchin. Get everybody all corked up. He goes for the Icy Wind though, disrespecting Amoonguss again, but that's cool because Pincurchin's not going to take very much damage. He does drop Iron Bundle's speed, but now I can bring Iron Hands in, threaten the fake out, and just generally big damage. With that Cork Drive boost, Iron Hands has a 273 attack stat, so we're ready to dole out some huge hits. Who wants the punishment? Roaring Moon takes its second sleep turn. That's all she wrote. Icy Wind. Bang. Goodbye. And so now both our Iron Bundles have dropped speed one time, so we're both the same speed. And we have eliminated one of their Pokemon, so they bring out their Iron Hands. I fake out Iron Bundle. They go for the fake out of my Iron Hands. I send out an Icy Wind to make sure that my Iron Hands is faster than theirs. And now my Iron Bundle is faster and theirs is in range of freeze dry. So with that in mind, I predict the protect of the swap. They do make that swap, and I'm free to double into the tank that is Iron Hands. They send out Amoonguss, the shiny boy, but Hydro Pump, bang, good damage, and a huge Drain Punch from my corked up big dog. Not enough to take out, but he looks like he needs some milk. He didn't like that, so he fires back with a Drain Punch of his own. R.I.P. Ramon. Gets a little bit of that health back, but we're in a good spot. Amoonguss can't threaten Spore. I can bring in my Amoonguss until the electric terrain wears out. Redirect attacks. I protect here to make sure that Amoonguss sticks around long enough to stall out electric terrain, because I know the only way I lose this matchup now is if I go to sleep with Iron Hands. He goes for the Rage Powder, but we were hitting him with that Fire Punch. Non-stab still does a ton. We take some Rocky Helmet Chip, and he does go for the Drain Punch, so could have gone for the sick Pollen Puff play there, but just didn't want to risk losing my Amoonguss. So he goes for another Rage Powder, as do I. And then I'll fire off a Drain Punch into his Amoonguss slot. I figure with the Cork boost it'll be able to pick up, even though it's not very effective. It does, and if he had switched in Iron Bundle into that slot, thing would have gone down too, and I would have got back a lot more health. So that's cool. Now it's a 2v3 in my favor, and I still have Amoonguss for redirection. He doesn't go for the Wild Charge there. He goes for the Drain Punch. So I'm feeling really good about this end game. Electric terrain's gone. And you can see here that the Cork Drive boosts do wear off when that electric terrain goes away. So that's something to keep in mind. So he does go for the Protect there on my Drain Punch. So I was like, alright, good play. His dog still got some fight left in him. But I wasn't sure it was enough. Drain Punch into his Protect. But he doesn't go for the Wild Charge. He's still Drain Punching my Amoonguss. So I'm still around to redirect one more Iron Bundle attack away. Now he goes for the Terra Water here, which is a good play because now boosted Hydro Pump is likely to pick up my Amoonguss. Just in case I try to go for the Spore and not the Rage Powder. And he does go for the Hydro Pump, but he misses. But now Drain Punch doesn't KO because he's not an ice type anymore. So I'm like, alright, this dude is making plays. He's trying to stick around. One more Drain Punch does take out Chamomile. So I'm like, alright, it's a game again. But the thing is, I have Sucker Punch on my Pincurchin, so I know I can pressure that slot. It's just a mind game of if he protects or not. But he has brought it back to a 2v2. Pincurchin's got decent health. My Iron Mike is faster than his. Now I could predict his Protect, but I want to keep him honest here. Cork drives up. Everybody's getting corked up again. And he does go for the Protect, so good play. He expected the Sucker Punch, but I had to keep him honest. We see a Drain Punch. It doesn't take him out, so now I'm like, alright, damn, this could be bad, but I got a lot of health, so I'm not really too worried about it being that I outspeed. But then Pincurchin survives the Drain Punch, and I'm like, alright, dog, I see you fighting. I see you fighting the good fight. He gets a double Protect, but I wasn't going to double into that slot. I'm going to keep him honest with the Sucker Punch. And I'm going to take out his Iron Hands with Iron Mike. Bang. Crit didn't matter. We saw from the last one that it did enough damage to take out from that range. And now it's a 1v2 and I'm threatening Sucker Punch. So that's game over. He concedes. Good game to my opponent. And so that was some good momentum winning the mirror match round 1. Appreciate y'all sticking around if you're still here. If you like and subscribe, I appreciate that too. Till next time. Peace.